Hey, Jake with B&H. I'm in upstate New York right now because today is the day that we get to test out and play with Nikon's brand new flagship mirrorless camera system, the Nikon Z9. So at the heart of the Z9 has to be the brand new image sensor. This is a full frame 45.7 megapixel BSI Stacked CMOS Sensor, and it has a brand new processor, the Expeed 7, for incredibly fast and reliable performance. The Z9 is the quintessential professional sports photographer's camera. The speed is unreal. We're talking 20 frames per second at full resolution with a buffer over 1,000 frames. We have blackout free shooting through the viewfinder. It has 8K video internally, 4K 120 video internally. It has a brand new updated autofocus system with 493 focus points and 3D detection with subject tracking. And it has mission critical build quality and so much more to talk about. We're here with two professional photographers. We're gonna have a lot of fun with the Nikon Z9, so let's go.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay, I'm here with Jen Pottheiser. She's a professional photographer and she's been using the Z9 now all morning, photographing figure skating. What are your first impressions of the autofocus? You've been using the 3D tracking with subject detection. What are your first impressions?
Yeah, 3D tracking with subject detection, it is spot on. It really can't miss. They're sliding into us. Focus is staying right on them. It's amazing. Did some spins, jumps. They're doing a great job, and the camera is keeping up with them. When subject tracking is this efficient, you can direct your subjects. You can spend your energy on all of the other intangibles and know that your camera is there supporting you, and it really has been. It is unlike any body I have ever used.
Okay, so now we've moved locations. Now we're focusing on men's tennis, another great fast action sport. Put the Z9 through its paces. But today we want to emphasize the electronic shutter, the new electronic shutter. In fact, the Z9 only has an electronic shutter. There's no more mechanical shutter. Now Nikon made this decision because they claim that this new sensor has the fastest scanning speeds, which basically means that you're going to have dramatically minimized rolling shutter and motion distortion, which is perfect for a fast moving tennis racket. Let's check it out.
Jen, could I just get a few more drops because I'm concentrating on the racket? Yeah, I got it.
The Nikon Z9 has some impressive high continuous shooting modes thanks to the brand new Expeed 7 processor. First up, we have 20 frames per second in RAW with a buffer of 1,000 frames. Or you can shoot in 30 frames per second in JPEG or 120 frames per second in JPEG at 11 megapixels. Now, despite the high resolution of the Z9, 45.7 megapixels, it actually has pretty impressive low light capabilities thanks to the native ISO that goes from 64 all the way to 25,600 ISO. All right, we just finished shooting men's tennis. Joe McNally was really getting in there, testing out all the bells and whistles of the Z9. First off, let's talk about the electronic shutter. What were your impressions shooting tennis today?
Well, it's so fast, and its natural mode is very quiet. So I actually upped the volume. You can up the volume on the shutter so you really can hear it, because otherwise it's like a whisper, and you're like, am I shooting pictures? And it moves so fast. So at 20 frames, I've got full RAW, and then I switched to 30 frames at full res JPEG, and then I went to 120 frames at 11 megapixel JPEG.
Nice. All right, great. Thank you, Mike.
I've never been able to shoot tennis like this or any sport like this. Not that I'm a tennis shooter, please, but you know, connecting with his face, the racket, and knowing that I'm seeing him all the time, that was outstanding.
And the last part there with the 120, you were really trying to freeze the ball on the racket. Do you feel like you took a lot of pictures? Did you feel like you were able to accomplish that?
Yes, I sure hope so. I mean, good Lord, you hit that shutter and it just goes. I mean, I didn't see any distortion in the racket. And what I got my fingers crossed on is I'm shooting at 2,000th of a second. I'm hoping it's fast enough to stop. I'm going to have to take a look at it. Just fast enough to stop that moment of impact. I think it is. I think we're in good ballpark area there.
Awesome. And you looked through the viewfinder pretty much the whole time. Blackout free?
Blackout free. Blackout free. And that's amazing because, you know, will I shoot like this all the time? Absolutely not. I'm more of a portrait photographer in many ways. But for many years, you know, from film into digital, there's always been that split second where you don't see your subject. And expressions are momentary, they're fleeting.
Sure.
So now I know on a set, even when I'm using lights, I can dial my lights to a low power so I get a fast recycle on power packs. I've got continuous view of my subject. Great, great. Hold on for a second.
Amazing. We got more fun to come with the Nikon Z9. Let's go. Let's go. All right, we've changed locations again. We're now at Walden Motocross. I can't think of a better way to test out the Z9's subject detection AF tracking than high-octane motocross dirt bike action. Now, many photographers will undoubtedly compare the Z9 to the former flagship, the D6. However, the autofocus of the Z9 is really what sets it apart from a DSLR. The Nikon Z9 has 9 types of subject detection, including people, animals, and vehicles. And yes, that includes motorbikes, and that's why we're here today. All right, got 4K 120 subject detection tracking. Here we go. He's coming down a jump. Boom, grabs him. Even the eye detection is more advanced in the Z9. It'll actually now recognize a smaller eye in the frame and still detect it and keep it in sharp focus. The AF system in general has 493 points, and there is a Starlight View AF mode for working in low light conditions all the way down to negative 8.5 EV. All right, Joe McNally just got into the muck, into the dirt to photograph motocross with the new Nikon Z9. That's a lot of mud. What were you doing in there?
Well, one could choose from a variety of options. You could say being completely stupid, that's one thing, or just getting close. The philosophy of being a photographer is get close to the action. You know, if you're not close enough, your pictures won't be good enough. Age-old philosophy espoused by Robert Capa. Your pictures get better when you're close. It just is, there's a direct relationship there.
Absolutely. What mode were you in the camera? Were you shooting bursts? Were you in subject detection?
I was in subject detection, and I bounced around from vehicle to face to everything. Okay, and I tried to experiment a little bit because the motorcycles with the helmets, is it really a face? Is it really a vehicle? So the camera was very intelligent on that level, and face recognition actually, even though they've got, you know, masks on and helmets and all that stuff, they still, the cursor went to the eye, to the head, right in here, and stuck with it. So I was very fortunate there, and I'm shooting fast mode, 20 frames raw, and just tracking, you know, and then they get too close to my position, right? They would get too close. So then I just, you know, kind of angle downwards a little bit, and I just get the leg and the wheels and the mud and get a detail as they went by. And I was playing with shutter speed and f-stop, you know, how fast the shutter speed, small f-stop, then widening out my depth of field. So I tried a lot of different things. Camera took a beating, but hey, you know, that's what a flagship camera is all about. You know, it's durable. The build factor enables you just keep shooting, no matter the inclement conditions or whatever's spewing at you, the camera keeps working.
All right, it's time to talk video. For the first time ever in a Nikon body, you can shoot 8K video internally. The Nikon Z9 can shoot 8K up to 30 frames per second, the full pixel readout. That's not all. It can also shoot 4K at 120 frames per second. I'm testing that out here today. And it gets better. The Nikon Z9 can shoot 4K 10-bit ProRes internally. And it still has N-Log, so if you need more dynamic range, put in N-Log and really push your colors. And Nikon has said they have some firmware coming in 2022 that offers some jaw-dropping video spec features. We're talking 8K 60p 12-bit NRAW internal recording and 4K 60p ProRes RAW internal recording. Okay, we're at our fourth and final destination. We're photographing and taking video of a rugby game, and I want to take this time to talk about the Z9's professional build quality. It is a durable magnesium alloy chassis, and it has dust and moisture sealing. Now, as I mentioned, there's no mechanical shutter, it's only an electronic shutter, which means the sensor can be exposed to the elements. Well, not so fast. Nikon actually thought of that and has built in a sensor shield to protect the sensor, for instance, when you're changing lenses. The Z9 has an integrated vertical grip, which is perfect for vertical orientation. It's also great for heat dissipation, which allows the camera to shoot 8K for up to 2 hours and 5 minutes. And if you actually go into portrait mode, if you're in photo mode, the text on the screen will rotate so you can actually read it when the camera is in vertical mode. Really nice touch. The Nikon Z9 is compatible with EN-EL18 series batteries, which is the same as the D6. However, the Z9 will come with the EN-EL18D, which is rated for 700 frames per charge. The Z9 has two CF Express Type B card slots, a full HDMI port, a mic port, a headphone port, the 10-pin port for Nikon accessories, USB-C connection, Ethernet, and PC sync. It also has GPS, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi. You do get the same great vibration reduction from the Z6 in the Z9 with an added bonus of having the ability to lock it when not in use so the sensor doesn't jiggle around and get damaged. Another exciting release from Nikon coming out at the same time as the Z9 is a new lens. I have here the 100-400 f4.5 to 5.6 zoom lens. It is a NIKKOR S series lineup, and it's actually the lightest lens in its class. It offers 5.5 stops of vibration reduction. It also offers an inner balance technology to help maintain the center of gravity, which is great. So when you're zooming the lens, it doesn't really move that much. It maintains that center of gravity, and therefore you have better operability. There's also no barrel creep, and it has a minimum focusing distance of 2.46 feet. We've had an incredible two-day adventure playing with and testing out Nikon's new flagship mirrorless camera, the Nikon Z9. We put it through its paces. We did figure skating, we did motocross, we did rugby, we did tennis, all fast, high-octane, fast-moving sports, and this camera could keep up no matter what. We tested the 3D tracking with subject detection, we tested the autofocus subject detection, we tested the electronic shutter, we tested 8K video, we tested 4K at 120. There's nothing really this camera can't capture. And I think both Joe and Jen feel the exact same way. Let's go ask them.
Lots of technology comes down the pike. Cameras are updating all the time, and as a photographer, you have to choose wisely, as they say. You know, some of the changes are nice, they're wonderful, but they're also kind of incremental. Every once in a while you get a camera that's a game changer, and this camera's a game changer.
It's fun to have a reason to play in the mud, and having that camera in my hand definitely had a reason to play in the mud. It was
Absolutely.
So much fun.
AF performance supersedes anything I've ever used.
Wow.
Durability is a huge factor, you know, especially if you are a sports photographer, or, you know, even just a general assignment photographer. You know, you're dealing with wind and weather, snow, rain, etc. you're traveling, you're throwing your bags in the holds of airplanes or, you know, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, so the cameras really have to be designed to take a beating and stick with you. And this camera's it.
I can't wait to like have it and take it home and use it all the time. For real, it is everything that I love about my other bodies. It's just that much better now, where things that you didn't think could get better, whether it's the autofocus or frames per second, everything is just that much better.
Final takeaways from the last 2 days. Did you have fun?
Oh yeah, I had a blast. I mean, you know, things are moving, you know, you're able to work with people and kind of orchestrate some action, and the action was really strong and powerful. My favorite probably was the motocross, and it was a mess, but it was fun, you know.
You were a mess.
Yeah, I was a
ended up
mess.
being a
I was a mess. But, you know, getting close to the action and feeling like you can do that and put the camera, you know, I mean, a little bit of an overstatement, but you kind of risk the camera. You know, you're getting it close to the elements, close to the action, close to the mud and splatter and all that stuff, and it just kept working like a champ.
It makes me think differently because I know what the tools can do and I know what that body now can do. So I'm thinking, oh, well, I can be, you know, next time I'm going to dig a hole and submerge myself in the mud. Like, you just keep thinking like, wow, I could do that. And that makes it fun.
Joe McNally, a true legend. Are you going to buy one?
No, I'm gonna buy 2 or 3. So 2. B&H, please save me 2.
Well, you've heard my thoughts and you've heard Jen and Joe's thoughts. What are your thoughts on the new Nikon Z9, the new flagship mirrorless camera? Let me know in the comments below. I'm Jake with B&H. Just keep rolling.
Think of it as a spa day.
Okay, we're good.